Man, yesterday, guys, was a crazy day, alright? I mean, we got the new iPhones, we got iOS 12, the Gold Master, and honestly, there was a lot of stuff that to be happy about, but at the same time, there was something that really irked me a wrong way, and it was pretty much a domino effect that, like, once this thing released, like, so many other things happened. And I'll go into more of those details in separate videos, but in this specific man, I'm gonna say, I don't think the iPhone XR is worth the money. I think it's honestly a waste of money. And I'm gonna go on such a rant, and I'm gonna apologize because I'm trying to be as professional as possible. But you guys know how I be, but I do have something to say. I did a video about the iPhones and everything you need to know, and that got copyright striked, and it got demonetized. So, I mean, I totally understand where they're coming from, but I'm never gonna put Apple's videos on these videos ever again. So it's just basically gonna be me talking. I might show up photos, but yeah, no more videos about that. But let me go into a little bit more further detail about this. Okay, so really, I will say the only thing that it has going for it, the iPhone XR, is the A12 chip and maybe the way it looks, okay? Because if you can imagine, it's just an iPhone 10 with a bigger screen a little bit, and that's pretty much the premise of it. And it also has the A12 Bionic chip, but you know, Apple says it's 300,000 times faster every year or whatever, but in reality, it's not going to be that much faster. I mean, it's going to be faster, don't get me wrong, but it's not going to be worlds different. Like, if you still have an iPhone 10 or an iPhone 8 or 8 Plus, you're not going to be like, oh, my phone is completely slow now. If you guys even remember when I had my iPhone 6S, I've been saying this phone is so fast even now, and this phone is far from its release. It's not a new phone anymore. And this phone is still very capable. It's still a very capable phone. And I just did a comparison between the iPhone 6S and the iPhone 10, and that one was still fast. And once these new iPhones come out, we're going to do speed tests for those guys. Don't worry. But in that case, that's maybe the only thing the iPhone XR has going for it. Putting the way it looks, the colors, everything, all into one, I mean, that's really the only thing it has going for it. Now, here's the crazy thing, okay? The screen is bigger, but it's a lower resolution, okay? So that makes absolutely no sense at all. Any phone coming out in this day and age of 2018 should be at least full HD. If you guys don't know, that's 1080p. So anything like the 6 Plus, okay, the phone that came out in 2014, this phone has a higher resolution screen than the iPhone XR that's being released now. That's going to cost $750, okay? This phone right here, okay, could you imagine that? This phone is 1080p, okay? I don't understand what Apple is doing in this case. Why is it, I understand they have to make it all bezel-less and all this stuff, but why can't it have a full HD screen at the very least? It makes absolutely no sense, and I understand it has to be the budget iPhone, but even in that case, it's not even that budget. $750 is still a lot of money. And the crazy thing is, this phone right here, the iPhone 6 Plus, when it was released, as well as the 6S Plus, were only $749 when they got released for their base price. And that's the same thing with the iPhone XR, and this was the flagship. In 2014, this was the flagship phone. In fact, the iPhone 6 and 6S were even cheaper than that, which makes sense, and this was the more expensive out of the ones. So that makes absolutely no sense that Apple would go and price their cheaper iPhone the same price as they did of their flagships a couple years ago and have a panel that's not even as sharp as this one that the older iPhones have. It's like they take one step forward and like 3 steps back. It makes absolutely no sense. And the crazy thing is the PPI is the same as the iPhone 6. So, I mean, if you think about it, with the bigger screen, it's not going to look that good at all, in my opinion. Now, you're still going to pick it up and you're going to look at it and you're like, okay, it's still pretty sharp. But at the same time, it's not going to be as good as a panel as maybe an iPhone 10 or even an iPhone 6 Plus. Now, here's a huge thing and probably the biggest takeaway all the way from this. I got my iPhone 10 a few months ago for around $700. I think it was around like $720, okay? This was 64 gigabytes, and this is the phone I have now. This is not the liquid damaged one. I returned that one. This is a different one. And I bought this when the iPhone 10 was still the main device, so I guess some leaks were coming out, but this was probably in like May or June. I honestly don't remember, but it was like somewhere in that area. So this phone this phone hasn't even been out for a year yet. And I bought it for, like I said, around $700. And I got a pretty good deal on it. I felt like I could have got it for cheaper than that, but I just left it. I was like, whatever. And I ran an analysis like a couple months, maybe like a month ago. And I don't remember what the price I found for the average used selling price for a base iPhone 10, but I'll put it on the screen. And even if we take it like that, right, the price has at least gone down $100 once the iPhone XR gets released, or even once the iPhone XS and XS Max gets released. The iPhone 10 is going to go down in price, as we all know. Let's just even say it goes down like $100 or $200. That's still going to be around the same price or even cheaper than an iPhone XR. So now it begs the question, would you rather have an iPhone 10 with an OLED screen, 3D touch, a higher resolution screen, and all those other things, such a premium device, dual cameras on the back, for the same price or less than as an iPhone 10 with only a 0.3 inch bigger screen? Like, I would rather do that. I don't care about an A12 Bionic chip. I would rather have a more premium device with a better screen. I don't care about a bigger screen. I care about a better screen, an OLED screen at that, for cheaper than that. And I'm going to do a comparison between the iPhone 10 and 10R, but it's just ridiculous. And people are going to say, oh, it has the A12, it has this and that. But guys, you have to remember, the screen is the one thing you're communicating your phone with. You're not communicating with the A12 chip. It's not like you're looking at it. You're not looking at the bigger battery. You're not looking at the single camera on the back or whatever. You're looking at the screen. This is how you're going to communicate. And if you're going to communicate with a huge screen that only has like the same PPI as an iPhone 6, dude, I don't want to do that, you know? And even at that point, I would probably even rather get an iPhone 8 Plus than this thing too. I mean, they kept comparing it to the iPhone 8 Plus. I mean, not only, like I said, you're getting a bigger screen, all that stuff, but you're still retaining 3D touch. You're getting the dual camera setup on the back. You're getting portrait mode and all that stuff. I don't remember. I think the 10R is getting portrait mode. But I mean, dude, the prices for the iPhone 8 are going to go down quite a bit. I believe they said it's going down to $599 or something, which means that the iPhone 8 Plus, I think, is selling for $100 more. So that's going to be around $699. So really only $50 more. You get the iPhone 10R. I would say save the $50. Just pick up an iPhone 10R. There's no point at all in getting an iPhone 10R. And the crazy thing is the OnePlus 6, okay, isn't even that expensive if you think about it, compared to an iPhone 10R. And the OnePlus 6 has a bezel screen, OLED, all this other crazy stuff, and it's hyped up to be one of the craziest, best, you know, like budget phones you can get. And it's even comparable to all the other like Note 9s and stuff. And some people haven't even classified it as a budget phone, which is pretty cool. And I have so much respect for OnePlus and their company. So you're really giving up a lot to get an iPhone 10R. I know people are still going to buy it like crazy. I know people are going to hype it up and say it's this and that. I will say it is pretty much like a 5C over again. But if you remember the iPhone 5C, it was pretty much an iPhone 5. It had the same exact features. It just didn't feel as premium. But this one is weird because the iPhone 10R kind of feels as premium. I'm sure it still has glass on the back and everything, but the internals are completely changed. And I don't want to advocate you guys to go and get that, because that'd be making me, you know, like not a good consumer reviewer, because I don't want you guys messing up and getting a phone you're not going to like. Now, obviously, if it's your first iPhone or whatever, then obviously get it. You're not going to know a difference. You're probably going to enjoy it anyway. But I still think it's weird that Apple is going out and making a device that has a panel like that. And that's honestly the main problem, besides the single camera on the back and 3D touch, because 3D touch is an amazing way how we communicate with our phone. I mean, it just indulges you in. Now, I understand it does have the haptic feedback thing. That's kind of like the MacBook trackpad, but not really, whatever they were saying. I just don't understand why they couldn't have put this on that phone if it's still for $750. You know what I mean? The iPhone 7 right now is being sold for $499 or whatever. That has 3D touch in it too. Why can't they put that on an iPhone 10R if it's even more expensive than that? And they were making the iPhone 6s at the same time too, where that phone does have 3D touch, but they were developing it for cheaper than an iPhone 10. And now the iPhone 10R and 10s and 10s Max are released. They're not making the iPhone 10 anymore. So it begs the question, why couldn't they put it on the iPhone 10R? It makes absolutely no sense. It's not like it costs that much more to make, because they're doing it right now on the iPhone 7, and that's cheaper than an iPhone 10R. Even the iPhone 7 Plus, like, what is their logic here? It basically goes down to the consumer and how they can make them have a phone that's not really as capable as the better ones, so they can go ahead and update and have an excuse to update. And that's how they beat every single time. I'm telling you guys right now, that's how it is every single time. So pretty much, I'm going to sum it up. The iPhone 10R is not worth the money at all. If you want to, definitely pick up a used iPhone 10. I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, iPhone 10s are a waste of money, this and that. But guys, I'm telling you, if you can even get your hands on them, because they're stopping production of these, I will say totally 100% pick up an iPhone 10. You're not going to regret it. It's still going to last you for many, many, many years, and you're not going to notice that big of a difference. I'm still going to pick up the 10R, 10s, and 10s Max. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, even from just from me viewing their Apple keynote and all that stuff, I mean, it was good. Don't get me wrong, okay? And the iPhone 10s and 10s Max looks really, really cool. But specifically with the iPhone 10R, it just seems like you're spending a lot of money for everything. If this iPhone 10, like, you're spending about, let's just say you even spent the same price, okay? Which I know you can get an iPhone 10 for cheaper than that. But let's just say you spent the same price. You're still getting more of a phone from the iPhone 10, even though it has a smaller screen, than an iPhone 10R, which has a bigger screen, but you're so limited. Single camera, no 3D touch, a PPI that's like 330 or 326. Horrible. It's not horrible, but when you have a screen that big, it just doesn't look that good. And not even a full HD panel. I mean, we're stepping back here. Like, This is like an iPhone 6 panel on a 6.1 inch screen, you know? It makes absolutely no sense, but people are still going to eat it up, and I just find it insane. But I mean, that's pretty much where I'm going to leave it at. I know I kind of ranted. I do apologize. But, you know, I just got to say, it just kind of bothers me sometimes. And I don't want you guys wasting your money either. Because I'm such an advocate of getting, like, used technology just because it's so much of a better deal. It's just kind of weird that Apple would do something like that. But who knows? Maybe it'll be really awesome. But I guess we're going to have to wait and see. If you guys have any questions or anything, leave it down in the comment section below. Hit that like button, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber really does count. So it'll mean so much if you guys could hit that. Also, check out the other links down in the description as well. My second channel, Lo-Fi Alpaca. I actually started posting some more iOS reviews on that. I just did an iPhone SE, and I might use that for videos that I never get a time to do on this main channel. So definitely subscribe to that. Also, check out my Twitter and Instagram. All that stuff is down in the description as well. I'd really appreciate if you guys could go and follow me. But more importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.